This is The Drive with Dale Lolley and Matt Williamson on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. SNR, Steelers Nation Radio.
And welcome to The Drive. I am Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson. It's a brand new week here in Pittsburgh.
Beautiful day, too.
A beautiful day. There was some rain coming here a little bit later, which makes sense because, of course, my baseball season starts tonight. The baseball stuff kicks off. I'm sure it's going to rain right about 6 o'clock here.
Right about it. They throw out the first
This is the first pitch is thrown, and then here comes the rain. But that's baseball in Western Pennsylvania.
April baseball can't be easy to navigate.
It is not. This draft, not exactly easy to navigate as well.
But it's right around the corner now.
It is right around the corner.
Or so?
Steelers had 3 more visitors today. As I mentioned last week, they were going to have Syracuse quarterback Kyle McCord in. Well, that happened today.
Okay, good.
They also brought in Minnesota cornerback Justin Wally.
Really? He's a much better player. We never talk about him.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
A feisty kind of slot guy. And Texas running back Jaden Blue.
Okay, another explosive, sort of smaller. Let's start with Blue. We've talked about Sampson. We've talked about Henderson. We've talked about Tootin. Blue's as fast as any of them.
Yeah.
Little smaller. I think he'd definitely be your kickoff returner from day one. Work him into the mix, but explosive. McCord is interesting. I mean, I forget what podcast I was on. It was like, McCord's a tough sell to the Pittsburghers because they watch the Pitt game.
They watch the Pitt game.
But since then, he kind of calmed down quite a bit. And he is a risk taker. He has some Jameis Winston, Fitzpatrick to him. But I thought he had a really good year, and I think there's tools there for sure. Like, I think he could be a long-term.
I think he's a better player to me than Howard.
Agreed.
But people will say, well, you got to take Howard because no, McCord's the better player.
Ohio State fans are losing their mind right now. But right. I agree. I'd rather McCord than Howard for the pros.
Yeah.
Going forward, I think he throws the ball better. I think he's more gifted. Not as good an athlete, but had very little around him, especially compared to Howard.
Right.
And Wally is a do-it-all fifth-round corner that's I think he's going to stick in the league. Yeah. Those all add up.
He's a playmaker, and so the Steelers still have a few visits left to hold here. These are all
time, though. Yeah.
These are all later round guys.
Mm-hmm.
So again, they canvass, all the different areas of the draft in terms of what rounds they bring guys in. There's no necessarily. I mean, we see rhyme or reason to it. A lot of quarterbacks, a lot of running backs, defensive backs, defensive linemen, those kind of things. Mm-hmm. The obvious needs. But again, throughout the draft, and just because they bring a guy in doesn't mean they're absolutely going to draft him.
No.
But there's some kind of interest there.
There was a high percentage of their picks last year.
Last year was a lot.
Really high.
There have been other years when it's just been maybe one guy that came in for.
It has to fall that way, and they got to leave the visit saying, "Oh, we like him." He might leave the visit going, The questions we wanted answered were answered, but not in a positive way.
Yeah.
Or I don't really want to be around him, or whatever. But no, I definitely think running back is no surprise, very much in the mix for a draft pick, and.
Has to be.
Maybe it's a smaller, super fast guy. I don't know.
Well, again, you canvass. They brought in the little guys. They brought in some of the bigger guys.
Some bangers, too.
It depends on what the draft offers to you. Mm-hmm. You can't just say, we're going to take a big back.
Right.
No matter what. Well, there's like 4 of them in the draft, and you may not get one.
Right. I just don't know that Blue or Sampson or a couple of those guys would have even been considered 5 years ago, 3 years ago, in this situation, that they always wanted a big guy. In addition to what they have now.
I mean, you have to adjust your game to what college football is producing.
Absolutely.
And the smaller backs are what college football is producing.
And
because they play more in space.
And the system, too. It's year 2 of Arthur Smith's offense. Najee was not an outside zone, get to the edge, take to the house type guy at all. He runs hard, obviously, but he's not a good system fit. And frankly, the league's telling you, we're not going to let you have explosives through the air with these 2 high safeties. Eagles the perfect example, and I'm not implying Blue is Saquon, but I mean, if we can create big plays on the ground, okay, we'll take it then. Whatever you give us.
Right. Just changing gears a little bit here. I want to talk a little bit about the T.J. Watt situation because I hear, and I see this on the message boards a lot too, I wouldn't pay him $40 million. That's too much money to pay. How many playoff wins have you gotten with T.J. Watt?
Right.
Okay. They haven't won a Super Bowl with T.J. Watt.
They have not.
They didn't win a Super Bowl with Tuncham Wolf,
right?
Lewis Lips, Dermontti Dawson, Greg Lloyd.
Yeah.
Kevin. I can go. Rod Woodson didn't win a Super Bowl here. There's been a lot of really great players that have come through Pittsburgh that did not win a Super Bowl.
Doesn't mean they were bad investments.
Doesn't mean they were bad investments. Doesn't mean they were bad players. Many of them have gone on to Hall of Fame stuff. And you don't win without those guys.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here thinking even from a different perspective, but similar. I look at the best edge rushers in the league as Watt, Garrett, Parsons, Bosa, Crosby. 0 Super Bowl wins for all those, too. Should they not keep their guys?
I guess they shouldn't.
I mean, they should all trade them all to the Chiefs.
And too many people are looking at a potential Watt contract. Well, I wouldn't pay him $40 million. Well, first of all, you don't have $40 million.
Right.
So you're completely out of the conversation. You have to think of this like you're budgeting.
That's the thing.
I'm going to buy a new car. Okay, how much of my budget can I afford to pay for this new car?
Well, new cars cost more now than they did 5 years ago.
Right. But maybe I'm making more money than I was 5 years ago when I bought my last car.
This is true for the Steelers and 31 organizations.
Correct.
They are making more and they are spending more.
When T.J. Watt signed his last contract, the salary cap was about $100 million less than what it is now.
$100 million, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he signs the new deal.
If you were signed a $40 million deal then lose your mind.
Right.
Because that's breaking the bank.
That was quarterback money.
Yeah.
By the time any new contract for Watt would kick in and actually start to be, that money, that kind of money would be paid out, it's going to be another year from now, it's going to be another $30 million bump in the salary cap.
Yeah.
It's going to be $100 million more than it was 3 years ago.
Right. I mean, it's going up at a ridiculously rate.
You said this before. It's all about the cap hit percentage.
The percentage of cap space.
The percentage of cap space.
Right.
And again, if you're not paying a quarterback big money, you can afford to make those kind of expenditures.
Right. And I can't really envision a scenario where they will be paying a quarterback big money over the next couple years.
No.
I mean, it would have to be, Josh Allen isn't happy in Buffalo.
Right. We're going to make a trade for Josh Allen.
Maybe Dak Prescott.
And even then, you wouldn't have.
You wouldn't pay the bonus, and it wouldn't be the same anyways. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's not going to be a Rodgers situation. He's not going to make insane money. If you draft someone, he's a superstar. You don't have to pay him for 4 or 5 years anyway.
Right.
Right. I mean, to me, that's the other thing. I thought this is where you're going with it too. It's like he's not worth $40 million. Well, they have a lot of cap space too. I mean, that does not
and you have to spend to the floor.
Right. I mean, they got a lot of cap space still this year and so much next year. They're going to use it. I mean, they're not going to just sit on it.
Right.
They have it to spend. It's not like should we sign him or somebody else. Should we sign him or not is really the question.
The other part of this argument, and we were talking a little Pirates before the show started today. The same people who will tell you that T.J. Watt, they haven't won anything with T.J. Watt, they haven't won anything with Minka Fitzpatrick, et cetera, et cetera. Can't sign those guys these big contracts.
Doesn't mean they're losers, by the way.
No, it does not. But they're also the same people who get angry when the Pirates don't spend any money. Well, they don't want to spend. Well, they just trade these guys away for nothing because they don't want to pay them. You can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both
Either
ways.
you're keeping your good players or you're not keeping your good players. One team does it and the other team doesn't.
You're paying guys or you're not.
Right.
And they're going to pay TJ. They should pay TJ. I would imagine my only reservation with it, and it's minor, is when he hits a wall, what'll happen in something, or when he gets old, which he's showing no signs of. What's the deal structured when that point comes?
You structure the deal that way.
And I would say that's what the contract's going to reflect.
Right.
I mean, if we would really dig into the new contract, I bet we'll look at it like 3 years from now they could get out of it. 2 years they could get out of it.
And they get an out after every year.
Right. Or could restructure or add something or, right. I mean, but you pay him now for not past services for what he is today, which is a great player.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, last year, 2 years ago, he led the league with 19 sacks. People say, well, he's not been that guy the last 2 years. I'm like,
you're nuts.
You didn't see 2 years ago when he had 19 sacks?
He was phenomenal last year.
He was great last year.
Yeah, he's one of the best defensive players in the league.
Oh, I know. He didn't have any stats in the playoffs because his job was to go after the running back, and Lamar was keeping the ball.
Yeah,
he did his job on the field.
He played very well, actually.
Yeah.
That was not the reason that they had a bad defensive game.
No, they had a bad defensive game plan.
Yeah,
in that
and they
game.
got moved around and didn't execute it well. What was there too, but no, I have no reservations paying him. I mean, I've heard so many things lately. Just trade him for Brock Purdy, or boy, the Falcons would finally give you a first-round pick for him.
So you would rather trade T.J. Watt for Brock Purdy and then pay Brock Purdy $50 million.
Right, yeah. These guys aren't free either.
That makes a ton of sense.
Right.
To pay an average quarterback $50 million. Because that's what Brock Purdy is. He's an average quarterback.
Yeah, he's an average starting quarterback, which is better than what they've had lately.
Correct.
But that's not Joe Burrow.
No.
I mean, if you want to trade Watt and 3 first-round picks for Burrow, okay, that's a different conversation. That's a game changer. But no, I don't understand it.
You're not going.
There's also a culture involved too.
And there's that. And you want to, if you start trading away the guys who have earned the respect in that locker room because the other players see how hard they work, then the other guys in that locker room go, well, if they'll trade TJ, they'll trade me.
Right.
I've got no future here.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I mean by the
awful
culture side of
message.
it. Right. Now, he's a lifer. You keep him. He's done everything to deserve that.
He's a Hall of Fame player.
No question.
I just can't believe that there's people out there trade him away. They haven't won anything with him. Get rid of him.
I mean, he's an all-time great.
Nobody has said that about Dermontti Dawson.
No, right.
Like, they didn't win a Super Bowl with Dermontti Dawson. He's probably, in my eyes, he's the best center in NFL history.
My eyes as well. He was not the problem.
No,
TJ's not the problem. He's not the reason why they haven't won a playoff
It's
game.
a team game.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a quarterback, you're going to be behind the 8 ball to try to win these playoff games.
Yeah.
And their last 3 playoff losses have been to Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen.
Right.
Now, I know they lost to the Browns in 2020.
Yes.
Nobody's excusing that. That's a game that they should win. I know they lost to the Jaguars in 2017. I'm not excusing that. That's a game they should win at home.
Yep.
But these last 3, you were
pretty decent dog going into it, right?
You were a massive underdog on the road against 3 of the best, maybe 3 of the top 4 quarterbacks in the league right now.
I mean, kind of like back to your baseball analogy. It's like I got a great starting pitcher, and he goes out there and keeps us super competitive every 4 or 5 days or whatever. Is paying him wrong if the rest of my staff stinks and I lose the other games? No, that's a guy you keep. He's part of the answer, not the problem.
Yeah. When the Pirates trade away Paul Skeens in a couple of years, which they will do.
Complain about that.
Complain about that.
Garrett Cole or whoever it was.
Yeah, right. I could go down a litany of guys that they have traded away.
Frankly, that's like drafting Burrow and trading him right before his contract's up.
Right.
I mean, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a rare player you took first overall that everyone on the planet could see was good. It was even better than you thought.
Complain about that.
I mean, if the Bengals would have traded Burrow instead of paying him after his 4th year, now that's crazy talk. But that's kind of what happens with the baseball team around.
But, I mean, if you want to say you need to trade away T.J. Watt now would be like saying, okay, we're the Pirates. We're not going to win a World Series with Paul Skeens. We might as well trade him now.
Got no chance.
Just trade him now.
Don't even
People
bother.
would go nuts.
Right, as they should. Now, is there a time a year from now, 2 years from now, where things are looking grim and he's getting up in age and it might be time to cut your losses with a player? Sure. I don't see that being now at all.
Not now at all. And I look at T.J. Watt like I looked at Cam Hayward and that whole thing. And there were people, you got to get rid of him. He's too old. You can't pay him. First of all, they're all saying, you can't pay him $25 or $30 million a year. You don't know that wasn't what was being asked for.
You're talking about Hayward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ended up signing a deal that was much less than that.
Mm-hmm.
And B, he was fantastic last year.
He was fantastic last year. I mean, I don't think they make the playoffs without Cam Hayward.
No.
I mean, they may be a 7-win team last year without Cam Hayward.
They would
if you can add to it.
They might be a 6-win team if they traded away T.J. Watt.
Maybe. I mean, the attention he deserves.
The numbers when he plays versus when he doesn't play,
they're night and day. And
I think they're like 1-11.
And it goes back years and years.
Yeah.
I mean, sacks, pressures, run defense, everything about it, let alone, hey, how much does Highsmith and Herbig and those guys appreciate all the doubles and triples he gets, which is astronomical.
Every team coming in to play the Pittsburgh Steelers says, what do we have to do to stop keep TJ Watt from wrecking this game?
Really, all you have to do is turn on all 22 tape, and every offensive coordinator in the league will tell you how good TJ Watt is.
There are three
They're
guys
pretty smart
on that side of the field, and if there aren't three guys on that side of the field, somebody made a big mistake,
or the ball's coming out in 2.1 seconds, no matter.
Think about the Giants game last year.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to have the help protection on that side, and they
mental bust.
They had a mental break, and all of a sudden Watt comes in and just finishes the game because that's what he can do.
And he often does. Right. Now, I'm also a believer that anyone could have a price. I mean, if you blew my doors off with an obscene trade that could lead to my next future quarterback, of course I'll listen. But you're not going to get that. You're not going to get 3 1s for him or something insane.
No, again, the other team would be trading away like 4 years ago.
Oh, he's worth it then.
He's worth it then.
It's like the Khalil Mack trade from the Raiders, but better.
We argued about that with Myles Garrett stuff. Like, I just didn't see anybody out there who was going to give up multiple first-round draft picks for Myles Garrett at 28 years old.
And you got to remember his age too. Obviously, right? You're not going to get.
And then what you then have to pay him. But if you've already got him on your team, you just pay him,
and you're happy about it. Yeah, and you're real happy about it because you have the money, the cap's going up, and he's worth it.
And you look at the percentage of the cap hit, not the total number.
I bet it's
care
lower.
Less about the total number.
I'll go out on a limb and bet that his next contract percentage of cap will be lower than the contract he's working on now. Because frankly, he was worth a little more then because he was younger.
When he signed his deal, he was 11.7% of the cap.
Okay. It's a big number, but it's not an obscene number.
2023, it was just over 13%. That was a $29 million cap hit. 2024, it was 11.91% of the cap. This year, it's 10.89% of the cap.
Okay. If he were to sign a deal today, that'll go down, and next year's will go maybe be higher. But the cap keeps going up.
But it's not going to go over 13%.
No, it's not going to be 20.
I mean,
it's not going to be 20%. It's not going to be 18%. No. It's going to be in that neighborhood. It might be as low as 10 because the cap's so big.
Yeah, and he, at worst, is a top 15 player in the league.
Yeah.
Even now.
And unless he shows us differently at some point or he just can't stay healthy or whatever, that I don't understand the logic behind it.
Nor do I.
Yeah.
The idea, it's a team game. The idea, you don't just step out there with one guy in a playoff game. Well, TJ Watt didn't win a playoff game. No, the Steelers didn't win a playoff game.
Right. And he's one of the few force multipliers in the league that makes everyone around him better just by his presence.
Yeah.
I mean, he really does.
You don't trade those away.
No, you'd have to blow my doors off. Right.
I would have to get something really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. That could directly lead to superstar quarterback, whatever it is.
That's not Brock Purdy.
It's not Brock Purdy, right? That's not what I'm looking for. I don't. Brock Purdy doesn't help me beat Burrow and Lamar twice a year enough. No. That's why I don't want Dart or Sanders.
Especially if I don't have TJ Watt.
Well, especially not TJ Watt. Right. Exactly.
If I had Brock Purdy and TJ Watt, now I might have a chance.
Right. I mean, frankly, Purdy's better than Rudolph, but I like my chances of winning with Rudolph and Watt better than I do with Purdy and no Watt.
Yeah.
Let alone, and you're not going to roll with Rudolph no matter what. You're still going to get something different on top of that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not looking for middle of the road quarterbacks. I'm
looking for I want to hit home run.
I want the TJ Watt of quarterback.
There you go. Anyways, let's get to a break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I will be back with more right after this. And welcome back to the Drive here on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. I'm Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson. And Matt Miller has come out with his top 600 prospects.
I saw that, didn't even click on it. I'm
insane.
Like, wow. I mean, what are you doing?
Well, for his top 50 guys, he has come through with his comparisons, his pro comps.
Okay, yeah.
So
I've seen a lot of those lately, too.
Yeah, roll through those and see what we agree with, what we don't agree with. From Abdul Carter, he has Micah Parsons, and I don't see it.
It's just too convenient. He's 11, Penn State, linebacker turned edge. I'll take Parsons all day long. Yeah. I mean, Carter's really, really impressive, but that's too lofty.
Travis Hunter is Odell Beckham Jr. So he comped him to a wide receiver and not a cornerback.
I kind of agree. I mean, in terms of the way they move, size, all those things. Odell was a more developed route runner because he's a full-time receiver.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Ashton Genty is Alvin Kamara. I don't agree with that one. I see more LaDainian Tomlinson type
I think LT
player.
is a really good comparison.
Alvin Kamara is not a run between the tackles kind of guy.
No.
Genty can run between the tackles.
In a big way. The big one I hear, I hear Kamara a lot, is just the contact balance.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And they both have that.
Mason Graham is Christian Wilkins. I don't see that either.
It's okay. I mean, Wilkins is not an overwhelming physical specimen.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Jalen Walker is Harold Landry III.
Maybe, but there's not many comparisons for him.
No,
I mean,
he's
really
undersized.
6'1".
I still look at him as an inside linebacker. I know not everybody does, and a lot of people don't, but how many 6'1", 240-pound edge rushers really succeed in the league?
I think he could be a 3-4 outside line. If the Steelers drafted him, I think he would be an outside guy, an edge that maybe flirted with inside. But these teams that are four-man fronts all the time,
he's too small.
I don't think he can do that.
Yeah.
And people seem to love him. Like he's just flying up with draft boards. I get all the character stuff and athlete stuff, but the problem is there isn't a comp.
Right.
Now, who is he,
Colston Loveland
He's not James Harrison.
No, he's not. No.
Right.
Colston Loveland is Sam Laporta.
That's a good one. The one thing about Laporta versus Warren, Laporta's better at getting open on his own.
You mean Loveland versus
I'm sorry. Yeah. I think he's better at getting open on his own as opposed to being schemed up. I heard the craziest stat, and I double-checked it. He missed 3 games last year. And I know Michigan is not exactly thrown all over the field and they had quarterback issues. But in the 3 games he missed last year, combined, they threw for 146 yards in 3 games. I mean, it wasn't uncommon for them to throw 150 a game anyway.
Right.
But still, you combined for 346 yards the games he was out.
Will Johnson, the comp is Trayvon Diggs. He had his pro day or his personal workout today, did not run.
All right.
It's a huge red flag for me.
Huge red flag. I mean, at that position, more than any other, I want some kind of time. He's going to be a pretty high pick without a 40 for a corner.
Like he did some of the agility drills and things of that nature.
He did good with that, and everyone said his drills were really smooth and looked good, and his other
knew
time
all
stuff
that,
was fine. Right. Like, I'd be pretty ticked off if I was a scout and flew to Ann Arbor really just to see a 40 and you still didn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, what if he's a 4.58 guy?
I think he might be worse.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, they do have GPS numbers on these guys that they didn't back in the day. I look at him more like a Richard Sherman. I think he's a cover 3, off the ball, see things, go get it. I don't think he's a press you, turn and run type of dude in the league.
Maybe he goes to Pete Carroll.
I thought that too.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't go Genty, maybe Carroll just says. The other thing about that, Brady's a Michigan guy. The GM they just hired, Michigan guy. There's some connections there.
Kelvin Banks is Rashawn Slater.
I'd much rather Slater.
Yeah.
I think Slater's one of the best left tackles in the league.
Tyler Warren is Greg Olson.
Not bad. I mean, Olson, how old I am. I remember Olson coming out of Wayne Hills whenever he was a 5-star recruit. Watched his high school tape. He was phenomenal, and then he was really, really good with Miami.
Yeah.
Warren might be a little more versatile.
Armand Membo is Jason Peters.
Not bad. Shorter than ideal tackle, great athlete, natural power and base and things like that. It's funny. I mean, I don't know if he can be a left tackle or not. He just hasn't been. They never asked him to be, and they just plugged him in at right tackle, and he stayed there. But last year, every tackle switched sides.
Jade Barron is Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, but DeJean's bigger.
Bigger, yeah.
I bet Barron's more fluid.
He's not much bigger.
DeJean was a shade over. DeJean was 6'1"-ish, 210.
I thought he was like a shade over 6 foot, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I bet he's got 15 pounds on him, though.
Barron came in at 194 at the combine.
Was he that heavy? I was thinking he was like 180.
He still ran well.
Oh, yeah.
So I assume he dropped some weight at the combine to
Probably.
Will Campbell is Deion Dawkins.
Okay. I don't know Dawkins' arm length. Dawkins is a little thicker in the middle.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Luther Burden is Stephon Diggs.
I'm not agreeing with many of these, and I'm not agreeing with that one at all.
Not at all.
To me, I think Diggs as route runner, technician.
Yeah. I don't see
Burden doing that, and a lot of it's usage, but I don't think he's Debo either. Everyone's like, oh, he's Debo. Like, no,
he's definitely not that.
No, he's really good after the catch, but he's not a technician.
Cam Ward, I actually like this one. Jordan Love.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gunslinger, has that mentality, a lot of ability.
Move, but isn't a true runner, but is good enough to.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Jihad Campbell, Edgerrin Cooper.
Maybe. A lot more edge potential. I mean, pass rush potential than Cooper. Cooper really wasn't a linebacker in college. He was kind of like an overhang dude, but athletically they're similar.
Matthew Golden, the comp is Garrett Wilson.
He hopes.
They hope.
But stylistically, Wilson, that's not crazy.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with Wilson.
Mike Green, the comp is Will Anderson.
Anderson's more physical and better against the run for me. But they're both high-end pass rushers.
Yeah. I don't understand why Mike Green's not getting more. I mean, I know there's some off-the-field stuff. But if that all checks out.
Right. Yeah.
I don't understand why he's not higher.
I agree. And it kind of goes back to even like the Walker conversation that are these teams really going to want 240-pound edge guys that are base 4-3 teams? I mean, not that Green's huge, but I look at like Michael Williams.
At least he has the length.
I mean, like I bet Michael Williams goes higher than you think because he can be on the field every down for sure.
Yeah.
And I think Green can too.
Nick Emuwari, the comp is Derwin James.
I guess, but James was a much better prospect at the same age.
Yeah.
I
mean the size, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I mean, James was a killer at Florida State.
Omarion Hampton, the comp is Breece Hall.
Good one. I probably like Hall a little better. I also know more about him now. It's hard to remember what you thought of him.
I mean, the contact balance was big with Hall.
They both have home run. They're both good receivers. I would say Hall's probably a better receiver.
Walter Nolan, the comp is Ed Oliver.
He's bigger. Oliver's little.
He's a bigger, Oliver coming out was 280 pounds.
He also tested like a linebacker.
Yeah.
His testing's nuts. And he was little. I mean, that's better. That's why he became a first.
But they are both the penetrating type.
Yeah. They're both very talented.
Yeah.
Nolan's not as huge as you think.
Yeah.
I mean, Herman's bigger. Some of the guys we talk about are bigger.
Malachi Starks, the comp is Brian Branch.
Maybe.
He could drop down and play the
smart.
slot.
He could do a lot of things for you.
Yeah.
He could be a glue guy. Neither is going to blow your doors off with 40 times. Okay.
Tet McMillan, the comp is Michael Thomas.
Slants and contested stuff and
doesn't run real well.
Yeah. I would say more in the Sutton mold.
Yeah. Emeka Egbuka, the comp is Ladd McConkey. I like Ladd McConkey a lot better than I like Egbuka.
I like both.
I mean, I don't hate Egbuka.
Yeah. But I think in terms of usage would be similar. Egbuka's probably more physical. McConkey's quicker and more explosive and better on breaking out routes and things like that. Yeah.
Tyler Booker, the comp is Tyler Smith.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Tyler Smith's really good.
Shedeur Sanders, the comp is Jared Goff.
Yeah.
You would hope that he turned into Jared Goff.
Yeah. I see more Geno. I've heard Bridgewater's a comp, which isn't flattering.
No.
Goff's got a better arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goff can throw the football.
Yeah, he can really throw it. Sanders is not a great athlete, but he moves better than Goff.
Derek Harmon. The comp is Leonard Williams.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. He was like the 4th pick in the draft and was phenomenal last year. He's lasted in the league a long time. I could see some like DeForest Buckner with him too, the length and disruptive Oregon,
Shamar Stewart, the comp is Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, because he had very little production and insane measurables at LSU.
Yeah.
But Hunter was a 3rd rounder.
Right. That's the
if I can take Stewart in the 3rd round, Sure.
Absolutely.
Am I taking him at 10?
Right. It's the Jackson Dart argument.
Right.
If I could get him in the second round, yeah.
Right. I mean, even
Taking him at
Oweh
21, not so much.
Right. I mean, even Oweh was like 28 or something in his draft, and he had production before it was bad last year.
Michael Williams, the comp is Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, it's an easy one.
Yeah.
Walker's a little more explosive.
Josh Simmons, the comp is Teron Armstead.
Fine. Light on his feet, good protector.
Kenneth Grant, the comp is Travis Jones.
I think he'll give you more pass rush than Jones.
Jones isn't bad, though.
No, Jones is good.
Yeah.
We loved him coming out of UConn.
Absolutely.
I hated to see him go to the Ravens. He'd be great in the middle of the Steelers' D-line right now. You'd love to have Travis Jones.
Yeah.
And frankly, if you took Grant at 21 and he turned into exactly Travis Jones, you wouldn't be unhappy about it.
No.
I do think he is a better athlete than Jones.
Trey Amos, the comp is Christian Benford.
Okay. I mean,
he runs better than Benford.
He probably runs better than Benford. Yeah. Benford's been good in the league, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the prospect version's different than this version of Benford.
Gray Zabel, the comp is Elgton Jenkins.
That's a good call. He could play all over the line, smart. Okay, I'm cool with that.
Donovan Jackson, the comp is Isaac Seumalo.
That's fine, I guess. I know some people think Jackson can play tackle. I think that's a stretch.
Yeah.
I would never ask Isaac to play tackle.
Mason Taylor, the comp is Zach Ertz.
Good one. Smart, knows what he's doing, moves well, block a little.
Josh Connerly, the offensive tackle from Oregon, the comp is Broderick Jones.
Ooh, I think Connerly wins in a race and is faster and is probably 20 pounds lighter and not nearly as physical. I mean, Jones is...
I think Broderick's a little faster than maybe what you're giving him credit for.
I'd say Connerly's finesse-ish and needs
there's
to add some weight. And there's his movement skills and traits are something to build on. I think Broderick is more physical, thicker, stronger.
Donovan Ezereku, the comp is Arnold
Ebiketie,
yeah.
Okay. That doesn't sound super flattering, but he was an early second-round pick.
I like Ezereku.
Yeah, I do too.
Jackson Dart.
Both their last names are hard to say.
Yeah. Jackson Dart, the comp is Bo Nix.
Fair in terms of arm, athleticism. I think Nix is a better processor.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be the first to say I didn't think Nix was a mid-first-round pick when we sat here a year ago.
Well, I thought that was the mid-round. I thought that was
the only landing
he had
spot.
to go.
Yeah.
Quinshawn Judkins, the comp is Joe Mixon.
I'll buy that. It's a good one.
Travion Henderson, the comp is James Cook.
Okay. I might say Cook runs with a little more tenacity. Henderson probably wins in a race.
Jalen Noel, the comp is Khalil Shakir.
Okay. I think Noel has more verticality to him than that, though.
Jaden Higgins, the other Iowa State wide receiver, the comp is Nico Collins.
I see it.
Yeah.
Nico's a top 5 receiver in the league right now, but I see it.
But
he was a fourth-round pick, and
yeah.
Nico didn't come in the league as a superstar.
Xavier Watts, the comp is Jesse Bates.
Yeah, I'm thinking pure center fielder, take the ball away, smart, plays faster than he times. These are high comparisons. I mean, There's perennial Pro Bowlers, but yeah.
Maxwell Hairston, the comp is Dax Hill. I don't see that.
I don't either. I think he's a better version of Dante Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caleb Johnson, the comp is DeMarco Murray.
I would have to study Murray more, but I do remember him being a really efficient outside zone.
Bigger back.
His highlight film doesn't blow you away, but at the end of the season, he's got 1,400 yards, and you're real happy about it. I like Caleb Johnson.
Carson Swessinger, the comp is Terrell Bernard.
Okay, I guess I'll gotta buy that.
Benjamin Morrison, the comp is Carlton Davis.
Absolutely. Long press man corner, sure.
Azirie Thomas, the comp is Charvarius Ward.
I don't know how well Ward runs, but Thomas does not run well.
Does not run well.
They're both man-to-man corners.
Yeah. Landon Jackson, the comp is A.J. Epinesa.
Sort of. Epinesa's more of a tough guy,
He's
thicker.
got more power. Yeah.
He's got more power. I think
Jackson's a good athlete.
this guy's a better athlete and bendier.
Tyleek Williams. The comp is B.J. Hill.
I'll take Williams all day long.
Yeah.
But I know he's not saying they're exact, but I like Williams more than that.
Ooh, I don't agree with this one at all either. Alfred Collins, who's his 50th rated player. The comp is Javon Kinlaw.
Kinlaw's been really bad.
Alfred Collins is a beast against a run.
Yeah.
Like, you can't move him.
I mean, Kinlaw was a mid-first round pick based on traits, length, and athleticism and testing. Collins is stouter.
Yeah.
And Kinlaw has not been good in the league.
Yeah. Now, maybe he's been miscast a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, Washington just gave him a ton of money. They disagree, but,
So,
yeah.
Those are his top 50. We'll get to some of the other ones here when we come back. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley. We're going through Matt Miller's top 600 here on – we're not going to do all 600 on Steelers Nation Radio. We'll be back with more right after this. And we are back. I'm Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson. We're looking here at Matt Miller's top 600 list on ESPN here. And we'll hit on some of these guys.
What an endeavor that is. But I guess no one really facts check you from like 400 on.
Probably not.
No one's like, you got him 555th. He should be 402nd.
What is interesting is to see how he rates some of these guys a little bit differently than what you see on some of the other places. His number 51 player, Ty Robinson, defensive tackle, Nebraska.
We're on board with that.
Finally, somebody's on my guy.
Yeah, give him some attention.
Jeez.
Some love, right?
I just think he could play anywhere on the defensive line. I could put him at nose and
it'll be fine for spot duty or whatever, right?
53, he has Jack Beck, the wide receiver out of TCU.
I'm a big fan. He's another one I don't think ran a 40, but probably shouldn't.
Siobhan Ravel all the way down at 57 for the cornerback from East Carolina.
It's funny, we were going over Dane's top 100 today, and he had Ravel and Benjamin pretty darn late, but he didn't have Simmons, the Ohio State tackle, late. Like, I'm wondering, what are these guys hearing medically on some of these dudes?
Yeah. Yeah. He has Anthony Belton, the offensive tackle from NC State, at 59.
Pretty high.
That's pretty high.
Yeah. I'm a fan, though.
Yeah. Tate Ratledge, the guard from Georgia, at 63.
I like both the Georgia guards.
Yeah, they're both good.
If they end up being in the right neighborhood, I could see the Steelers scarfing one out.
Darius Alexander, the defensive lineman from Toledo, at 65.
Yes, that's fair.
My understanding, he will make a visit to the Steelers here sometime this week.
He'd be a really good fit here.
Yeah. Let's see here. We got Josh Farmer, the defensive tackle from Florida State, at 71.
I've seen a lot of analysts call him more of a 3-technique, maybe even 3-4 end.
I think that's because of the arm length.
Yeah,
he's got the arm length.
It doesn't mean your noses have to have short arms.
No, you don't have to.
Right. But I think he is more than just a nose. I think we pigeonholed him there a little bit.
Tyler Shuck is the quarterback from Louisville at 73.
Okay. It's interesting. Dane has Shuck and Dart right next to each other. I forget where they're at, like in mid-40s or something like that.
He has them ahead of Dart. Hasn't been mentioned yet.
He has them ahead of Dart?
Yeah.
I would too, I think.
And I also, did I not see? Oh, I did see Shedeur Sanders.
Was Shedeur on there?
Yeah, Shedeur was on there. So now, let's see, Shuck. Then you're looking at Jalen Royals, the Utah State wide receiver, 76.
Funny you bring him up. I say this, I feel like every show, but I was listening to a podcast on the way here, and I was listening to Cosell go through his receivers. He sees a lot of Rashee Rice in him.
I can see that.
Which I can see that too. He's really hard to tackle. He's big and physical. He ran well, but he doesn't play like a burner. Like route runner over the middle. Steelers don't really have that guy.
Get those crossers over the middle. He's going to beat guys across the middle just because of the speed.
Hard to tackle, and he's a big body dude. I mean, if he's sitting around the 4th round, I'd hop on that. Yeah.
R.J. Harvey, the running back from UCF, at 78.
I think he's a quality player too.
Yeah. Quinn Ewers at 80.
I know he's been injured, but every time I watch him, I think, why is he a prospect?
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't throw the ball that well. He's not that big. He's been injured a bunch. He's had 4 NFL wideouts that are all going to get drafted high and 2 tight ends. and 2 running backs over the last 2 years.
Offensive linemen and
everything. And it's an Ohio State-like situation.
Noel Williams, the cornerback from Cal at 81.
I don't know where the negatives are.
I don't either. I mean, he's a 4.5 guy at the combine. You can look at, he's not a burner.
Right.
But he's a man coverage guy that takes the ball away.
Yeah, I'm not asking him to be Dion or Revis. Just maybe be a 2 or a 3 for him,
Jalen Milroe at 82.
Pretty low. I mean, I totally understand why he's a very decisive prospect.
Let's see here. Will Howard at 85.
Okay. I think he's a little more athletic version of Rudolph.
Did I miss Jackson Dart here somewhere?
There's people that aren't.
Oh, no, he was in the top 50.
Was he?
Yeah,
okay.
He was in the top 50. That was his comp was the Denver quarterback, Bo Nix.
Oh, yeah. We went over that. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm sure people are screaming at the radio.
I'm sure they're,
Hey,
dummies. Kyle Williams, the Washington State wide receiver at 89.
I might take him higher than that.
I like him, too.
The more I look into him, there's 8 receivers or so in the mid-rounds. You mentioned Royals. You mentioned him. That I'm growing fonder and fonder of.
Yeah.
That it can be not being slept on, but just not being talked about as high as they should go.
Kyle McCord at 90.
Okay. In town today. TJ Sanders, the defensive tackle from South Carolina at 91. I think he fits here. I originally thought he was 3 technique only, undersized. He's 6'4".
He's 6'4". The arm length is fine.
It's fine, right, right. He'd be an
Ogunjobi a little bit,
yeah. Right.
Charles Grant, the offensive tackle from William & Mary at 92.
I think that's a bargain.
Cam Scatabo at 94.
Okay.
Quincy Riley, the Louisville cornerback, at 95. Nobody in this draft this year has taken the ball away more than Quincy Riley.
Yeah.
All he does is take the ball away.
I bet he goes in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
I'd be no problem with that at all.
J.J. Pegues, the defensive tackle from Ole Miss at 97.
Seems about right.
You're looking at Ozzie Trapillo, the offensive tackle from Boston College at 100.
I don't think that's crazy, but I bet
the offensive tackle is bumped up a little bit higher than maybe some of the other stuff that you see out there.
I'd be shocked.
Which is probably right.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of where they're going to go,
yeah,
I bet Trapillo doesn't get out of the top 75.
But he's lower on Ariante Ursary than a lot of people, the offensive tackle out of Minnesota. 105 for him.
I was on a different podcast today talking about, they were asking, who are the guys no one's mocking in the 1st round that could sneak in? I picked him. Eagles and Chiefs at the end of round 1. He's huge, tested better than he looks on tape, but he's a really good athlete. And the bottom line is he's a tackle.
Right.
I mean, tackles, we were taking this off of Dane's top 100. I think he was like 46 or 45 in Dane's top 100. And I'm like, if you're a tackle, kind of like the quarterback, nudge, if you're a tackle that's the 45th player overall, you probably go in the 1st round most years.
Yeah. You got Jacob Parrish, the little feisty corner from K-State at 107.
If he was 2 inches taller, we're talking about him in mid-1st round.
Bayshell Tootin and DJ Giddens, the running backs out of Virginia Tech and K-State, are at 112 and 113.
If you'd take one of those 2 for the Steelers, who's your pick? I see both sides.
Yeah. And people have this idea that Bayshell Tootin is small. He's a 210-pound running back.
No, he's got BMI. I mean, he's a big, strong. He looks good. He's just not super tall.
Yeah.
Giddens is a little taller than I'd like. There's times that he
gets a little high.
Yeah.
Emory Jones out of LSU, the offensive lineman, at 121.
He's a drive favorite.
Alec Ayemanor, all the way down at 124 for him.
I'd love for him to be sitting there with
absolutely
120 guys were picked.
Jaden Blue, who was in for the Steelers today, the running back out of Texas at 129.
Okay, so he's probably running back 10 or so for Matt.
Let's see here. Cam Jackson, the big nose tackle out of Florida at 137.
We should lump him in with the mid-round noses more often than we do.
He's a good player.
He's 6'6".
Yeah,
he's a monster. West at 6'1".
Yeah, he's just a little chubby, but hard to
move.
He's
a huge baby.
Hard to move.
Yeah.
Has him ahead of Omar Norman Lott, who's at 138. So
couldn't be any different.
Yeah, no, they could not.
Right.
Logan Brown, who we've talked about at times, the offensive tackle out of Kansas, I should say, is at 141.
If the off-the-field stuff's clean, I think there's a lot to work with there.
Deone Walker at 143. Did you see what happened with him?
Hmm.
He had a stress fracture in his back that showed up on the medicals.
Wow. Well, that might translates to tape.
Yeah, explain some of the issues.
Hard to stay low, stiff. I mean, I can't imagine it being. It doesn't make me want him more, though.
No, it does not.
But I feel bad for the guy.
Jamari Caldwell, the defensive tackle out of Oregon, all the way down at 144.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Yeah,
give me those noses not named Walker in that neighborhood.
Jay Toya, the nose tackle out of UCLA.
We don't talk about him either. But
he's a good player.
He's going to be a 5th, 6th round pick that I bet sticks in a league as a run stuffer, old school nose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Elijah Roberts out of SMU, the edge rusher. He's at 153.
Okay.
Let's see. Mitchell Evans, the tight end out of Notre Dame at 157. Who else we got here? We got C.J. West, the nose tackle out of Indiana, all the way down at 168.
Seems low to me.
Yeah. Good player.
I think he goes pretty high.
Good
Maybe
player.
In the 3rd round.
Let's see here. Josh Gray, who we've taken a lot in late rounds, the guard out of Oregon State at 179. Upton Stout, the nickelback out of Western Kentucky at 181.
Can you see them taking a true nickel? I think Stout. I mean, we picked him before free agency a million times.
He's just a good player.
He's going to be so good on special teams.
Yeah.
He has a little bit of a safety background. I just don't know if I need another 5'10" and under guy after signing.
He is a little guy.
And he's small. He's real small. Yeah.
On the other side of that, Zaw Frazier out of UTSA is at 183.
Like they're both on the board. You take Frazier for the Steelers, but the other guy's a better football player right now.
Right. Yeah. And then number 200 for him, Isaac Tessel all the way down at 197, the wide receiver.
He's another one.
Arkansas.
That's the neighborhood I'm liking these receivers, and he's one of them.
Number 200 is Thomas Fedone, the tight end out of Nebraska.
I don't know a ton about him, but there are a lot of people that lobby for him.
Ran well and did all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get to a break. That's his kind of looking real quick at his top 200. There's some of the names.
Yeah, names we talk about a lot. Right.
He is Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I will be back with hour number 2 right after this. And we are back. I am Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson, and it's time for the start of hour number 2 here on The Drive. And, well, with the draft just over a week away, we're going to mock draft every day this week.
Oh, we are. Holy cow.
Let's pick it up here.
Giddy up.
So we got the NFL mock draft database ready to go here. We have, we got pick number 21 coming up here. I got to restart this thing here.
Okay.
Put it on fast. And we're going to enter the draft room. We're going to start this sucker and see
where
we're at. Because the first time I did it, I had some trade offers, and then the trade offers just went away. I don't know if I closed them by accident.
You need to refresh things or what?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
It cruises pretty fast. Okay, we have trade offers.
All right.
Green Bay is offering 23, their 4th round pick, which is 124, and a 3rd rounder next year to move up to 21.
In a nutshell, I have no problem accepting that right off the bat, assuming there's not one guy I can only live with at 21.
The Colts are offering 45, 80 in next year's 3rd. No.
Maybe one day this week, though, we should go deep into the 2nd round with our first pick and see how it ends up.
I know how that's going to end up. I'm not going to like it.
Probably not. Probably not.
Seattle is offering 52, 82, 92 in next year's 5 for pick 120.
Awfully far to go back to, obviously.
That's what you're saying now.
I know.
I won't go back that far.
If we're going to run 5 of them this week, though, we should throw something a little different at them.
The Browns are offering 33, 94, and 192 for 21.
I know we don't deal with them, but I like those builds a lot whenever I fiddle with early 2nd. You get a lot in return. What they say? You lost me after 33. What else did they offer?
94 and 192.
I'd rather not get 3 picks from them. I'd rather get 2 and get 33 and something closer.
Yeah.
We could talk.
I don't know. I guess they're coming up for a quarterback. I guess they want to come up and get Jackson Dart.
Great.
I
want them to have Jackson Dart.
Please,
we don't usually deal with
draft
the division,
Jackson Dart.
I want them to have a quarterback I'm not super fond of.
I mean, the one I like the most is just moving back 2 spots with Green Bay.
No doubt.
And I get next year's 3rd?
You get next year's 3rd and a 4th this year? That's too much compensation almost to me.
Yeah.
We can just do it.
All right. I'm going to take that.
Okay.
Let the Browns trade with somebody else to go get their quarterback.
All right.
We again have 3 trade offers. I'm just going to see, none of which, well, the The Lions want to give us 28-60. Next year's 4, next year's 7 to come up to 23, but we moved once.
Yeah, once is good.
All right, so we are up, and Omarion Hampton is there. Huh? I'm just going to mention the guys that we would draft.
Yeah. I think we've narrowed that down by this point of the process.
Defensive lineman still there. Well, it got hit pretty hard. Tyleik Williams is the top defensive lineman available.
Ouch.
I
guess we should have talked about this before.
We probably should have.
Did Nolan or would one of those guys go in the last 2 picks?
Yeah. Grant and Nolan both. Nolan went to Green Bay.
And then Grant went right after?
Yeah.
I still would have made the deal, though. If there was 2 of them on the board, I would have taken my chances.
Because I would take Omarion Hampton and be okay.
I don't know if I would.
I don't love the build, but
right. I mean, we have extra picks.
He's the best player available at a position of need.
But my point was just, would I not have done the Packers trade? I still would have done it with two of those 3 available. Going back a couple spots, it's unlikely to bite you in the butt like it did and get locked out.
It's the problem with trading back, and everybody's you got to trade back. Mm-hmm. Not if you're going to miss out on the players that you want.
Right. I just think 9 out of 10 times, only moving back 2 spots, the chances of those 2 being the 2 that fall is pretty slim.
Well, we're going to have to build.
We're going to have to build a little different.
We got to take Omarion Hampton here.
Maybe. Who else? Who's best available? We have a lot of extra picks.
Kelvin Banks.
No.
Jihad Campbell.
No.
Matthew Golden.
I would understand it.
But no. Malachi Starks. No.
Is there a corner? I don't even know who the corner would be.
None of them are going to play for me like Omarion Hampton is.
No.
But nobody that I draft here is going to play as much as Omarion Hampton is in the next 5 years.
100%.
You're going to have a hard time talking me out of that.
The name that you mentioned that I would consider is Tyleik, but that's early for him.
I can get a nose tackle later.
And we will.
We got an extra 4th-round pick with which to make that happen.
That works.
I think you just take
Hampton.
I mean, again, if we work off of our list of 21,
yeah,
he's the highest rated guy.
I'm sure. That's fine.
And you just take him.
Yeah, I mean, you got more mid-round stuff.
We picked up the extra pick that we lost in the Metcalf trade.
Mm-hmm.
So
my issue is we're just going to wait until the 3rd round now to get a D tackle.
I'll bet you there'll be somebody.
There'll be guys we like. That just won't be the next Cam Hayward. Or,
no,
we missed out on that. Anyway.
Okay. All right. So now we are up at that spot. Players available: Deone Walker, Ty Robinson,
maybe
C.J. West, Vernon Broughton, Jamari Caldwell, Aeneas Peebles, J.J. Pegues, Elijah Roberts.
Okay. I see them all as highly functional rotational pieces, not building block guys.
Well, I think C.J. West would be more than a rotational guy. He would be your starting nose tackle potentially.
Yes.
Maybe not right out of the gate, but I think by the end of the year he would.
Yeah. I think his career would be your nose tackle.
Or I see the same thing out of Caldwell.
Yes.
I think those guys are eventual starting nose tackles on your defense.
Couldn't agree more. I was thinking, though, now we have an extra 4th, right? That if we went Robinson here and roll the dice that one of the nose is still there in the 4th, or the next, we might get both.
I don't have a problem with that.
But I kind of like the noses more than I like Robinson, just in terms of pure value. Maybe Robinson's even there in the 4th.
Robinson might even play some nose for you.
Mm-hmm.
He played all across the Nebraska defense.
I think I'd take West. Caldwell's fine.
West versus Caldwell to me
is a tough call.
Is a discussion.
They're really different.
Yeah.
The one looks more like a nose, but is more active. He's just rounder,
Yeah. I think Caldwell gives you more as a pass rusher than West.
I definitely think so for now.
And I think that's what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. I'm cool with Caldwell.
Caldwell it is. We'll have another pick coming up here. And
2 4s here.
We get the 2 4s.
Real close to each other, right?
We do. And we're up. Robinson is still there, as is Elijah Roberts.
I think we both prefer Robinson of the 2.
I do as well. Yeah, I do. Now, Roberts has more of the ideal length that you're looking for, but West is just a
Robinson,
I should say. Just break up the fights in the bar and throw people out.
Who's best available?
Best available player is Emory Jones.
I would prefer going
followed by Kyle Kennard, followed by Ty Robinson. Now, we got picks. We got 2 picks in a row here. We got 123 and 124. So
I'm cool with one of them being Robinson.
All right, Robinson's the first one. Now we got to take a running back at this point.
We took Hampton.
Oh yeah, what am I saying? Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
All right, so now we can look at this. Emory Jones.
Wide receivers, corners, and O-line would be where I'd like to go shopping.
Ashton Gillette, the edge rusher out of Louisville. Billy Bowman, the safety out of Oklahoma.
Is Emory Jones still there, I assume?
Quincy Riley is still there.
Interesting.
Kyle McCord is there. You're looking at...
I understand McCord here, too.
Wide receivers, Ty Felton.
Ooh, I like Felton.
Isaac Tesla.
I get confused. Is that the...
That's the bigger of the two, I believe.
That's the Maryland Felton.
Yeah, the Maryland
I
Felton.
like the Maryland Felton.
Yeah. Cornerback, you're looking at Dorian Strong. Quincy Riley's off Frazier.
Riley would be a quality pick here.
Would be a quality pick. Offensive tackles, your linemen, you're looking at Jones, Holland Pierce, Jalen Rivers, Johnny Cornelius.
I'm not super stoked about Cornelius. The other ones would be fine. Anyone jumping out at you?
I think you take Riley.
He could be a starter.
He can play inside. He can play outside.
Mm-hmm. Then you're just done on defense.
Maybe a better version of William Gay.
Yeah.
More productive.
It's about where he went in the draft, too. And
played a long time.
Yeah. I'm cool with Riley there.
All right. Quincy Riley it is. We are back up now at 156 here. We're buzzing through.
I would certainly concentrate on offense the rest of the way, though. Quarterback, wide out, O-line.
Quarterback's available. McCord is still there.
That'd be fine.
At offensive tackle or offensive line.
I'm a lot more apt to take a McCord here after picking up an extra pick. Too.
Yeah. On the interior offensive line, Dylan Fairchild is still there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Like him. Offensive tackle, Jalen Rivers, Johnny Cornelius, Chase Lunt, Logan Brown.
I think people know I'm a Brown believer, but there could be some off-the-field stuff there.
Fairchild might be your starter next year, but do you take him over the quarterback? Or do you hope that one of those guys slides to 185?
I would take a lineman over a quarterback. And where are you at if McCormick or Siamalu gets hurt? I know Anderson's around, but then you're real thin.
Yeah.
I think Fairchild's probably your starter a year from now.
Fairchild it is.
Big program.
I don't have a problem with that. Okay, we're almost back up on the clock here. And
in the 5th round?
We are down to the 6th round now.
Okay.
Quarterbacks available. Dylan Gabriel, Max Brosmer, Seth Hennigan, Brady Cook, Graham Mertz, Peyton Thorne.
They're not doing it for me.
Nope.
I bet there's a late round receiver we could agree on.
Dante Thornton, Pat Bryant, Isaac Tesla.
All those guys.
I think I like Tesla the best of that group.
I like all those guys. Thornton, to me, has a lot of potential. Who was the second one you mentioned?
Pat Bryant.
Not real fast, but a ball winner.
They're like all kind of different.
Yeah, they're all kind of different.
Yeah.
Tesla, I think, has some upside and is really physical and might even be a Skoronic special teamer while he learns his trade. I like all those guys.
Yeah. He's like I hate to say a poor man's Jack Beck, but he just makes all these crazy catches.
He's got a lot of that to him.
Yeah. He'd be useful.
He'd be definitely useful. He's got some attitude to him, develop him. Any of those three is fine with me.
Let's take Tesla.
Okay.
We haven't taken Tesla.
With 2 A's.
I just like saying Tesla.
Yeah.
All right.
He should buy a Tesla with his signing bonus.
There you go. And we are up in round 7. Now I think we take a developmental quarterback.
I just didn't like getting the names.
Max Brosmer, Seth Hennigan.
Brosmer's okay.
I like Hennigan.
Hennigan's okay.
Yeah. Both of those guys are all right.
Mm-hmm.
You
play them a ton in the preseason.
Yeah, they're going to get snapped. They're going to be they're basically going to battle to be your number 3 quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
with the potential to maybe bump up to number 2.
Say in 2 years, they might be your Rudolph.
Yeah.
I think Mason will be back next year, and then after that, maybe one of these guys is that player.
Brosmer or Hennigan?
I don't really care. I think they're very similar in terms of value and fit and all that stuff.
All right, we'll take Brosmer. He's the higher ranked guy on here. I don't have a huge feeling one way or the other.
No.
Okay.
I don't mind 7th rounder on him, though.
We took at 23 after trading down Omari and Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
We then took at 83 Jamari Caldwell, the nose tackle out of Oregon. Followed that up at 123 with Ty Robinson, the defensive lineman out of Nebraska. And at 124, Quincy Riley, the cornerback out of Louisville. At 156, we took Dylan Fairchild, the guard out of Georgia. At 185, we took Isaac Tesla, the wide receiver out of Arkansas. And then at 229, we took Max Brosmer, the quarterback out of Minnesota.
I would throw them back and go fish. One of my least favorite drafts we've done.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is when you trade back and you lose.
If it would have started with Nolan or Grant or Harmon and then everything else falls into place, as we've said a million times, it'd be probably a much different feel. I don't regret any of those picks. We talked through them. Everyone just listened to it. But none of them are like, man, we got this guy in round 4. None of them I thought were steals or doing cartwheels over. They're all fine.
I think Hampton would help your offense a lot.
Well, no doubt. Right.
Yeah.
I hope my first
Again,
round
this
pick
is
helps my
assuming
offense.
that you have a quarterback in place.
Yeah, we're assuming that part, right.
Even if you don't.
Even if you don't. If it's Mason Rudolph, hand it to Hampton, your skill guys are a lot better than last year.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But
I'd love to have them, but
yeah,
I just don't like waiting that long to get
and I like Caldwell and Robinson.
I like every one of them.
Yeah.
I don't see enough splash.
Okay.
We also got a future pick.
We did.
We're loaded with those.
Yeah. Again.
Which, if you make that deal in round 1, as many picks as I want to have for next year, which is great, there can be a saturation limit there too.
There can be.
I might trade 2 fourths for a third this year or something like that too.
We didn't get a quarterback, so
right.
You're going to be making a move for a quarterback next year, presumably.
But even talking through some of those picks where it's like, do we want McCord or do we want the corner? I might trade a future pick and get both. Something like that. You got a lot of picks for next year after a trade like this. In the mid rounds.
But then you have to say, okay, is McCord going to be more than just a number 2 in his career?
Maybe McCord's even a bad example, but there's portions of the draft where maybe I'd have moved up with future picks after making a deal like that to pick up another 4th.
Yeah.
It's only 4 fourth-round picks. They're all great. I'll turn them into other things, but maybe I'll turn them into something this year.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get to a break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I will be back with more right after this. Welcome back. I'm Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson, and this is The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. And, of course, you can hear The Drive every Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. right here on these very airwaves. You can also download the Steelers mobile app and get it there. You can also check out Matt and I's Triple Take stuff.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're going to tape a 3-round mock with Mike Pursuta that'll come out on Thursday. That'll be fun.
I got to re-rank my inside linebackers tonight and get them to you, too.
I did all that stuff today.
Did you?
I was all over.
I had a busy one today. Tonight I'm going to do in writing.
And you can also watch along on our YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up there. That helps the algorithms, and you can leave us your responses there or your comments or ask questions. All kinds of places to get the drive.
Yeah. Tune in, spread the word, all that good stuff. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe,
Matt, Mike Band on NFL.com has put together his mock draft 2.0, and you might ask, who's Mike Band?
I don't know who that is.
He is their NFL Next Gen Stats research and analytics guy.
Oh, cool.
We went through his mock draft the first time he did it.
I remember now, yeah.
And he had the percentages on there of what the pick would be for each team.
Okay, a different way of looking at it.
Yeah. So let's take a look at that. He has Cam Ward going number 1. He said the probabilities of the first position drafted being a quarterback are 93%.
Yeah.
Defensive line 5%, cornerback 2%.
Yeah, I assume he's calling Hunter a corner. But
yeah.
And Carter a D-line.
He has the Browns taking Travis Hunter. He has cornerback being 63%, defensive lineman 26%, quarterback now all the way down at 9%.
I would think they'd play him more at receiver than corner if he ends up
I
a
think
Brown.
so too.
But,
yeah.
Okay.
The Giants then taking Abdul Carter. He has defensive line 58%, cornerback 24%, quarterback 12%. Again, the Browns and Giants taking a quarterback at 2 and 3. The odds of that have just completely evaporated.
Yep. I think we talked about this, but if I were the Giants in this position, I know you need as many blue chip dudes as you can. I bet somebody would move up for Carter. And I still could take Sanders at 8, 9, 10, whatever, and have maybe a future nice pick or whatever. He's a good player and I love him, but I would listen to offers at 3.
The Patriots at 4 take Will Campbell. For them, offensive line 50%, defensive line 22%, linebacker 11%.
Okay, I don't know who the linebacker would be.
Walker, they're probably an edge.
They call him Carter, linebacker.
Yeah. Jacksonville takes Mason Graham, defensive line 43%, offensive line 19%, linebacker 12%.
So we talked about the triple take stuff before, and you, myself, and Mike Pursuta did our mock live on draft day last year.
Yeah.
And we got the first 7 or maybe even the first 9 picks right. And that's great, but things got a little – it wasn't as hard as it looks now.
We got the first 7 because Atlanta then took
they screwed up
quarterback and screwed it up.
Penix. Yeah. I feel like these first 5 picks are getting really chalky.
A little bit, but that doesn't mean that's what they're going to be.
No. But, I mean, if I were to do a mock right this second –
somebody trades up into that spot –
then
and take somebody else,
everything turns on its head immediately. Yes.
The Raiders take Ashton Genty at 6.
Also sort of chalky.
Running back 45%, cornerback 19%, linebacker 10%.
Will Johnson's the one that keeps popping up, but it'd been nice to see him run.
Quarterback, to me, I could see quarterback at 6.
I don't know about that. I mean, they just extended Geno.
It's a 2-year deal, though.
I know. And he is old.
He's going to be 35 this year. Like, are you married to Geno Smith, or do you want to get your next guy?
If Sanders was a 10% better prospect, yeah. But, I mean, that staff doesn't have any – they have job security.
Yeah.
They can wait. But, I mean, I think they're building a program, and that would make sense. Sanders and Geno play a similar game.
At 7, the Jets take Armand Membo, offensive line 43%, tight end just 20%, defensive line 9%.
So I think I had those same 6 in my latest mock, basically verbatim, and I regretted afterwards. I gave them Warren. I think I would take Membo in a heartbeat over. Their pass catchers
Pure
are
right
really
tackle.
Bad, but they had much like the Steelers.
Move Fashanu over to the left
where
side.
he belongs.
Yeah.
You got Vera Tucker, you got Tippmann. You could have a line. That's a good spot.
At 8, the Panthers take Jalen Walker. Defensive line 40%, linebacker 31%, wide receiver 10%.
A little early for a receiver, but Walker's pretty chalky there too.
Yeah. So you got defensive line and linebacker taking up 71% of that.
I wonder what they call Walker, though.
I think he would be a defensive end for them.
I assume.
Well, no, I mean, they do play like a 3-4 base front, but
he's not a 3. I mean, he's a 3-4 outside guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to take Jahad Campbell. I mean, they're not going to take an off-the-ball linebacker.
I wouldn't think, yeah. The Saints at 9. Well, this changed over the weekend with the news about Derek Carr and his shoulder issues. They take Shedeur Sanders, quarterback now 47% for them.
Yeah.
Offensive line 11%, defensive line 9%.
It wouldn't blow me away if they preferred Dart to Sanders.
No.
I mean, remember, he comes from – he had Jalen Hurts as his quarterback. Neither one's a Jalen Hurts carbon copy, and they're not going to take Milroe that high. But I do think Dart's a better athlete and runner.
I mean, Kellen Moore has been at a bunch of different spots.
He was with Herbert.
He was with Dak Prescott. I mean, so there's a lot of different – everybody's just
he
was in Philadelphia last year, so – it'd
be different if he was in charge of drafting the quarterback and he picked Hurts. He got hired by the Eagles when they had Hurts.
Yeah.
He's had good quarterbacks.
Right.
Which helps your career. It helps you turn into a head coach when you have Herbert, Dak, and Hurts.
Yeah. But Sanders goes at 9.
But can you imagine him going in with just Rattler?
No.
I mean, no. Right.
And who's the other guy?
Somebody worse.
Yeah. They need a quarterback.
They badly.
The Bears then take Tyler Warren, and this is where it gets interesting for them. Probabilities of first position drafted. Running back, 23%.
So I think if Genty's there, slam dunk.
Offensive line, 21%. Defensive
that.
line, 21%. Tight end, 17%.
If I were their shoes, ideally I would take an edge. And there's a lot there, but there's not one I'm like, Warren's really intriguing to me there for a young quarterback.
San Francisco then takes Michael Williams, the edge rusher out of Georgia. Offensive line, 31%. Cornerback, 23%. Defensive line, 21%. Michael Williams, okay.
He's okay. I mean, I said there's not an edge I'm doing jumping jacks. They're all good. Would you take Green over him?
Yes.
I think I would too. If Membo or Campbell's there, I run it up. Other than that, I think I go D-line.
Dallas.
Would you consider a Nolan or a Grant or a Harmon for them?
No.
It's a little early.
Yeah. Dallas takes Tedero McMillan, wide receiver 37%, cornerback 17%, offensive line 13%, defensive line 12%.
If you're going to get your choice of true receivers, Hunter aside, I could absolutely see that being the pick.
The Dolphins at 13 take Will Johnson. Offensive line 30%, cornerback 25%, defensive line 19%, and safety 10%. I think there's some tie-ins there between the Dolphins and Will Johnson.
Okay.
I know it. So the owner of the Dolphins.
Oh, he's a Michigan guy.
He's a Michigan guy.
Yeah. Goes back to the Brady tampering, blah, 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 way back when.
So
they have a lot of needs, but corner's one of them.
Yeah. Indianapolis then takes Josh Simmons.
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't either.
Right.
Everybody gives him a tight end. And
they have pass catcher.
This makes more sense. Offensive line makes way more sense.
Right. You could just move guys around. Simmons could even redshirt this year, and you'd be fine, but you might get a real find, a true left tackle in a year or less than. I've put like Booker there, although I think it's too early for him.
Yeah, tight end is 39%, offensive line 21%, safety 12%.
Pretty high for safety.
Yeah. Atlanta takes Mike Green.
I bet their edge potential percentage is really high.
Yeah. Green's 3-cone drill is 6.85, which is flying.
Yeah. He kind of has that playing style, though.
Yeah. Defensive line 52%, cornerback 14%, linebacker 14%.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it's not an end.
Arizona takes Kenneth Grant. Defensive line 27%, offensive line 25%, cornerback 19%.
Okay. I mean, that's a large portion.
Cincinnati takes Shamar Stewart.
I don't know that he can get past them. The more I think about it, I think him and Michael Williams are going to be their two targets.
Defensive line 47%, cornerback 18%, safety 11%, offensive line 10%. I'm surprised the offensive line is so low.
It does seem low for guard center stuff. Yeah, right.
Shamar Stewart's just their type.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
The length and everything.
Yeah.
Seahawks take Gray Zabel. Offensive line 40%, wide receiver 16%, tight end 12%, safety 10%.
They're going to do that Shanahan wide zone, so I think Zabel makes more sense than Booker. But interior line's pretty rough.
Tampa Bay takes Jihad Campbell, which is getting a little chalky.
Yeah, it is pretty chalky if he gets that far.
Yeah, defensive line 30%, linebacker 27%, cornerback 16%.
There's only one linebacker to take, which is why I'm sure the percentage is low.
Well, it depends on what you consider.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what
guy.
Walker is.
Yeah. Denver takes Omarion Hampton. Running back is 33% for them. Wide receiver 21%, defensive line 12%.
I mean, I'm nitpicking, but there's only one running back I would consider there that has a chance to be there, and that's Hampton.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that's 33% because it's only one player you could target as opposed to other positions.
The Steelers, he has taking Derek Harmon.
Okay. I'm curious what his D-line percentage
Somebody
is.
finally got it right.
Right.
Defensive line percentage, 27%.
I'll take the over on that.
Yeah. Quarterback, 23%. Cornerback, 14%. Offensive line, 13%.
It's not going to be a first-round.
They're not taking a first-round offensive line.
No. I would put D-line at...
It might be 40%.
I would say like 60.
Yeah.
I think there's one of those three is going to be there, I think.
The Chargers take Colston Loveland.
chalky too, but
defensive line 31%.
That's a possibility.
Tight end 19%. Wide receiver 14%. Offensive line 13%.
I mean, Harbaugh builds through the trenches. Only had one off season to build through the trenches. He may want to find Harmon or a name that never gets thrown into them is Grant. He's also a Michigan guy.
Right, yeah.
Loveland, he's a Michigan guy. He's going to get him. Well, so is the 340-pounder that's a force in the middle.
Green Bay takes Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas. Defensive line, 39% for them.
Mm-hmm.
Cornerback, 27%. Offensive line, 17%.
I think there's a decent chance Jari Alexander gets traded during the draft.
Yeah. He has the Chiefs, trading up with the Vikings to take Kelvin Banks.
I could see that if I'm Kansas City. I don't love Banks, but he'll be my guard or he'll be a tackle.
Yeah, he'll play somewhere.
Yeah, that's a trade-up type of guy.
Offensive line for them is 39%.
They could call me a 21 and convince me to trade up.
Right.
Yeah.
Defensive line is 31%. Cornerback, 8%.
I definitely think he'll be a big guy.
I do too.
Unless it's a tight end.
At 25, the Texans take Emeka Egbuka.
He'd be a quality player for them.
Offensive line, though, is 57% for them.
I would say O-line has to be through the roof.
Wide receiver, 16%. Defensive line, 11%.
Okay. Those numbers sound right, the percentages.
And I can't imagine they would take Egbuka over Matthew Golden, but what do I know?
Yeah, true. I didn't realize who was on the board.
And the Rams take Matthew Golden.
That makes sense. I mean, Devontae Adams isn't going to play forever, and he's a lot different.
This one's the one that goes completely off the board, though, for him because he has cornerback at 23%.
I think that's their biggest need.
Offensive line at 22%. Defensive line at 13%.
I might have quarterback in there at some point, too.
Yeah. The Ravens take Donovan Ezereku.
I bet their percentages are all over the place, too.
Defensive line, 38%.
I might put O-line over D-line.
Offensive line, 19%. Cornerback, 17%. Safety, 13%.
The beauty of the safety thing is there could be one or two of the top guys still sitting there, as there is in this case.
As there is, yeah. At 28, the Lions take Tyler Booker.
I like that more and more, too.
Defensive line is a 50% probability of being drafted.
Everybody puts an edge rusher there.
Offensive line, 23%. Wide receiver, 7%.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Jamison Williams.
And so when's his contract up? If you don't pick up his fifth-year option, you may only have him another year.
I think they got him another year, and
he's all. I mean, do you pick up his fifth-year option? He's hard to bet on.
He's always a suspension waiting to happen,
or something. There's always an issue.
Yeah. Washington takes Nick Emuwari. Safety out of South Carolina. Defensive line at 29%. Offensive line at 17%. Cornerback at 15%.
Just traded for Tunsil. You might be out of the O-line market.
Buffalo takes Malachi Starks.
Back-to-back safety.
Makes a ton of sense.
Tons of sense to me. I think they're going to take one of those two safeties.
Yeah. Defensive line, 38%. Cornerback, 21%. Safety, 17%.
I mean, pretty much McDermott's entire reign there as head coach. He had Poyer and what's his face? I mean, they had really good safeties. Now they have well below average safeties.
Yeah. Minnesota, after moving back, takes Maxwell Hairston.
Okay. So it's a need,
Yeah, cornerback is 25%, safety 25%.
Again, if one of those two sitting there, it'd be hard to pass up.
Offensive line 17% and defensive line 17%.
They invested in O-line and D-line a lot, though. I bet it's a secondary player.
Cleveland comes back up to 32.
Yeah.
Why would they come up to 32? They've got pick 33. Unless they just want the 50-year option because they take Jackson Dart.
It has to be for a quarterback. But, I mean, wouldn't the Eagles do that in a heartbeat? Just give me anything to flop?
Sure.
I mean, you just lose a fifth-year option.
They just move up to get the 50-year option on Jackson Dart.
I would want the fifth-year option on Dart, though, because I don't want to play him in year one.
Right. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
That makes sense in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have 5 picks in the top 104.
Yeah. If you give up a third or something or fourth or something, move one pick. Okay.
So, interesting. Just a different way to look at it.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody finally gets it that
I thought the Steelers' D-line
defensive line need is the biggest one for the Steelers.
I still thought the percentage was low.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the percentages of that being the pick.
Yeah.
For what they're looking at, what might be available versus what the pick could be.
I still think it's low.
I still think it's low, too.
I think it's over 50% that they take a D lineman in the first round one.
Yeah, he said this is the 21st year that he's assembled his first-round mock. I don't remember seeing it before. But,
no. I thought I remember the way that he does it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's just a little different look at how to do that, but interesting.
A lot of stuff's getting chalky, which means it won't happen.
Right, exactly.
Joe Alt to the Titans said that 4,000 times a year ago.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's get to a break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I will be back with more right after this. And we are back. I'm Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson. And, Matt, we talked about this situation on Friday a little bit with Nico Iamaleava. He is now Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah, nice.
He is gone. Tennessee said, you know what?
Enough of that.
We're not going to put up with this. And the head coach, Josh Heupel, said, this program has been around for a long time. There are a lot of great coaches, a lot of great players who came and laid the cornerstone pieces, the legacy, the tradition that is Tennessee football. I'm going to be around a long time, and it's going to be around a long time after I'm gone and after they're gone. And he said no player is bigger than the program. He was going to make
the heck out of that.
$2.5 million this year, and now he is out of a job. Because that's what it is. It's a job.
So how does that work? Does he not get his money then?
Nope.
Okay, that's not like a signing bonus.
It is not. There's no guarantee of this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you get it like on a weekly check or whatever.
You got to actually play the games to get paid.
Good. I'm glad it's not.
He had a contract. He's not going to play. He's not going to live up to that contract. And they said, you know what?
Good riddance.
Adios.
Good. I mean, maybe he's a wonderful kid. I don't know. But I mean,
he's getting some bad advice. Advice.
I'm glad that the schools just don't roll over and be like, oh, whatever you want.
We'll give you more money. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Good. Maybe it's a precedent.
It does make me wonder, though, how if this is going to change how Iamaleava is viewed by NFL teams in the scouting world. Like, oh, you had a contract. You were going to make $2.5 million
as a 18-year-old or whatever.
As a redshirt sophomore. Mm-hmm. And he's eligible to come out after his redshirt sophomore season. Now he's going to go somewhere else. He's a one-year starter at Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Going to go somewhere else. Maybe it's not as good.
Right. I'm sure the Tennessee people aren't going to bang the drums that you have to take this kid. He's great for the program.
Right.
How could you?
You know, now you just wonder how that affects him. And so you start looking at next year's way too early projections. Well, I'm looking here at NFL Draft Buzz. Next year's quarterback class.
Okay. I know a couple of the names, but
Arch Manning is the number one guy. Arch Manning has started 2 games in his career.
I know. The march for Arch.
If Arch Manning was Arch Williamson, I don't know that people will be talking about him this way.
Probably wouldn't be quite as talented. Maybe better from the neck up.
But the number 2 quarterback on this list is Nico Iamaleava.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah. Now he's going to be changing schools.
Yeah.
And
his stock has to drop now. He may have an awesome season and be the first pick of the draft.
That might be great. Yeah. Maybe he goes somewhere and lights it up. I hope he does for his sake.
Maybe he's Ohio State's quarterback that win a national title, and who knows? Yeah.
But again, if I'm a team that's going to be drafting him, is like, is he going to want to sign a second deal with us, or is he going to? No, I got to make this much money. Is he going to hold out in the middle of his rookie contract?
Right.
I got to get more money.
Yeah, I don't think that's the same as Daniels leaving Ohio State or Arizona State, or Nick's leaving Auburn, or Chuck getting bounced around. I mean, this is, hey, I want more money. This isn't. I'm just looking for a different program.
Yeah, you went through the spring drills and then said, you know what, I'm gonna.
Just when we thought scouting was the Wild Wild West, there's another wrinkle to it now too, is holdouts.
The number 3 quarterback on this list is Drew Aller from Penn State, and yuck.
Yeah.
Yuck.
I've just seen some on Saturday here and there in the playoffs and stuff. I mean, looks like he has tools, but he doesn't blow me away as
he uses his tools like I use my tools. I have tools in my garage.
Right. Unskilled laborer, though.
Most of them are unused tools because I'm just not mechanically inclined.
I'm terrible about it. Yeah, I just say bad words.
I can use a screwdriver. I can do that. But if I start a do-it-yourself task at home, my wife will tell me, this is going to be an all-day event.
Oh yeah,
because I'm going to make 6 trips back and forth to the.
It's not time well spent.
The Home Depot or wherever, and
right.
It's just it's something that should take an hour and a half, 2 hours is an 8-hour job for me.
And it still might not be done correctly.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's how I am too.
Yeah.
Again, maybe Aller turns into a good prospect.
Maybe he
does. He's on top of these lists.
Maybe he's the next Christian Hackenberg.
Could be.
Lenore Sellers from Utah.
Okay, that's the name I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
I know the LSU kids.
I think it's
Utah.
Utah.
Or Nussmeier.
Yeah. Garrett Nussmeier from LSU. Cabe Klubnik from Clemson.
Okay.
Sam Levitt from Arizona State.
Okay.
I mean, and then you're getting into, quarterback 8.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have no idea. Carson Beck's 10 on this list.
And I say, is Beck even still in the mix?
He was terrible last year.
Yeah.
To the point where he's no longer, like, you just don't.
He was at the top of these lists.
You just
the last
don't
2
know.
years.
That's kind of the point we've been making all along. You just don't know what's going to be available. Now, maybe somebody else will emerge on this list, and I hope so.
They definitely will.
But
I mean, that's almost a guarantee. But 2 will drop off, or 3 will drop off, and 1 will get added, and then 1 won't go back to school, or will go back to school, or get hurt, or whatever.
Again, Nico Iamaleava was making $2.5 million this year.
And he threw it away.
And he threw it away because he wants more.
Who knows? Maybe you got a deal lined up with someone to get 3. I
think Carson Beck left Georgia to get $4 million a year from Miami.
Wow. Is he that? Maybe you don't know that. Is that like as much as anyone's making?
I don't have any idea. I don't know if there's any reporting on this stuff. How much they make.
There's not a spot track for. Let's go check all their contracts.
But it just, I don't know. It's not the college football that we once knew. For one, I know
100%.
You've been a proponent a long time for having a minor league system for the NFL. That's kind of what this has turned into.
It's turned into. I mean, it's 2 super conferences.
Except there's free agency every damn year.
Every year, right? I mean, with my recruiting background, like, why even bother recruiting? Just go get the portal and get somebody fresh.
Well, that's
whatever,
like the kids who really get hurt are the kids that aren't top 100 prospects.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going?
Where are you going to go? And you probably just wait around for someone. If they transfer in front of you, you're out of luck. Or,
then you end up having to transfer out. You know, again, that's what happened with Syracuse getting McCord. Like, he lost 1 game.
Can't beat Michigan, so you're
can't
terrible.
Beat Michigan, so we're going to move on, and we're going to take this guy instead, Will Howard instead, and
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I'm sure that there'll be quarterbacks next year, but if the Steelers love someone, even if it's McCord, or maybe you just make sure you get them now instead of just hoping things go your way. I mean, I'm not saying reach.
No, you don't reach.
I'm not saying reach and take a guy a round too early, but
or
you just
2
don't
rounds
have
too
any
early.
clue what's going to be coming down the pipe.
One of the things that drives me nuts, and I saw it was on Pro Football Focus today, and their mock draft had the Steelers taking Jalen Milroe because we know how much that Arthur Smith really loves running quarterbacks, and he'll be drooling over Jalen Milroe. I've been doing this a long time. I have yet to see a scout, a coach, a head coach, anybody drool over a prospect. Tip the young writers. Don't write that. I used to do it when I was younger too, because that makes you sound cool. It's stupid.
Massive exaggeration.
Nobody is drooling over anybody.
They're very analytical and businesslike of who they pick.
Drooling. It's in this one. I'm looking here about Lenore Sellers. NFL projection, the physical tools and developmental trajectory have scouts salivating. Come on, man.
Right.
Be better than that. Be better than that.
Yeah. Your descriptive words don't have to be over the top. Yeah.
Salivating like you're a dog.
They sit around in a meeting room and they watch a tape and they say, missed that throw, bad footwork there, should have made that read, missed it, negative.
Even if you really love the player, you're not salivating over them. You're not drooling.
Yeah. They had him going 21st. Milroe?
Yeah.
In PFF?
Yeah.
That's a little early. Everyone knows I'm a fan and I'm highly intrigued, but wow.
Well, this is where their overall rankings are at for these guys that we just talked about. Manning is number 1.
Is this PFF doing this?
This is NFL Draft Buzz.
Oh, okay.
They're way too early rankings for next year.
Gotcha.
Iamaleava is 6.
Of overall players in the draft. Okay.
Aller is 16. Sellers is 24.
Okay.
Nussmeier is 35. Klubnik is 49. And then there's a kind of a drop off there. Sam Levitt is 73. So right now they're saying that there's going to be 6 quarterbacks in the top 50.
Which means 6 in the first round.
Maybe 6 in the first round.
Yeah. Which would be great.
Right.
If that's where things end up, that there's 6 runs.
Is Iamaliva, is he coming out of school next year? Is Arch Manning coming out of school next year? We don't know.
I mean, I don't even care the names, but if next year there's 6 first-round caliber quarterbacks, great.
Fantastic.
I mean, that would be wonderful. I mean, it's so far from a guarantee, though.
Yeah, you just don't know. And again, these underclassmen are just –
Arch has played 2 games.
He's played 2 games. He may say, you know what? I just talked to my 2 uncles, and they said I'm better off staying in school for another year.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Whoever gets the first pick overall, they may say that's not a good fit for you.
Right. You don't want to go there.
You might as well get
because the Mannings also did that.
That's what I was thinking. Right. I mean, the Mannings are very on top of that.
Stay in school, make another, make
$4 million.
Make $4 million, and you don't have to go be a member of the Cleveland Browns. Or you don't have to go be a member of whoever has the number 1 overall pick.
The team you don't want to go to. Right. And I don't know. I mean, we talk about it a lot. Don't count on next year always being the grass isn't always greener.
Yeah.
I would bet that next year's quarterback class is better than this one.
It probably will be.
I don't think this one's as terrible as everyone thinks.
I don't think that either.
But I don't think. And I do think it sets up best for the Steelers to prepare for that draft.
And it looked, and just judging,
you can't just bank on it.
Yeah, judging from what they have done this offseason, acquiring all the comp picks for next year, that's what it appears they're setting themselves up to do.
Right, they do have a plan, folks.
There is a plan there.
Yep.
But you don't. That doesn't mean you turn your nose up at the quarterback this year if it presents itself.
The thing that bothers me a lot that I get from every angle, friends, Twitter, comments. Well, this team can't develop a quarterback. I'm like, where's the proof? I mean, who, even in Mike Tomlin's long stretch as head coach here, how many picks in the first 2 rounds have they used on a quarterback? Pickett, and he didn't work out great. I mean, it's not like this is massive track record of like the Bears or Browns. It's taking quarterback after quarterback. He stinks. Try again. I mean, I just don't get this team has no chance to develop a quarterback. I show me some proof.
Yeah, I don't get it either. But again, this coaching staff is completely different from even the staff that was there to develop Kenny Pickett.
That too, let alone Roethlisberger.
Basically, it's an all new offensive coaching staff.
Yeah.
From that group, but they can't develop a quarterback.
I mean, they got a lot out of Duck and Rudolph, and these guys that aren't particularly talented.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Anyways,
I'm still going to roll the dice with getting a developmental quarterback at one of these points and try to see what we can do with them. Right.
By the way, when Mike Tomlin got Ben Roethlisberger in 2007, he was not the quarterback that he would become in like 2014, 2015.
No, he was developed slowly.
He developed over those years into one of the,
best players in the league,
won with him, but in those years, he's leading the league in passing yards and things of that nature.
Yeah. I mean, his career spiked again.
Yeah.
And there's a couple elevators there,
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's show. So for my partner, Matt Williamson, for Justin Miller here on site, running the Justin Miller hotline and the soundboard here, and for Tyler Vittmeyer, making sure our video gets out there on the YouTube, give us a thumbs up there. I'm Dale Lolley. We thank you for listening to this edition of The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network.
Steelers football happens here. The Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.